Hello everybody and welcome back to the annual Stargate Gaming Summit. It's hard to believe it's been 28 years since the release of SG-1 and the curse of Stargate Gaming is still not broken. But there is some silver light on the horizon. For that reason I'm joined again by Tigdam, a fellow YouTuber, and Epytron, a modder of Stargate Invasion and Stargate Races. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi there. Doing pretty good.
Doing good.
That's always good to hear, but what is even better to hear, how has your year been in the Stargate sense? Have you any nice revelations, any new content, or did you just do a rewatch of the old content?
For me, I've rewatched a little bit of Atlantis and SG-1 recently. I think about like 4 or 5 months ago. I think was when I finished up with Atlantis. It's still hard for me to go back to Universe because just the way that they ended it kind of felt, that we were shorted on something that could have been even better, especially because the writing got so much better. But other than that, I've been working occasionally on models with Dolly Nick for Stargate Races 2 for Sins of the Solar Empire 2. I haven't dropped anything for him recently because I've been just dealing with other personal issues, and just that's about it for me.
Funny that you say that. I'm also doing currently a rewatch of Stargate Atlantis, and I mentioned it to Tigdam during the Empire at War session. I so miss these amazing sets. We don't have this in TV shows today, where they just build believable sets where you can really feel that the actor is playing around with items and not just CGI stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially when it comes to some of the modern series. But I mean, the way Destiny ended still irks me a little bit. It could have been so much more. It's a bit like Star Trek Enterprise, where they really got the story going. They started to go. They had all these plans for season 5, and then they got cut.
True, but to be honest, it's the only show we can just restart today because they are in stasis at the moment, and that the actors are grown up now. We can just say, hey, the stasis chamber leaked some particles and they grow a little bit older than we are used to. So we just can't start it again. SG-1, not so much.
I mean, with Destiny, they've always got the old excuse of, what was it, like 2 million years old? So they could always turn around and say, hey, this tech wasn't up to the same.
10 million. I think it was 10 million because at the start, it was at least 10 million years old because at the start of Atlantis, they said 10 million years ago when they showed Atlantis before it took off to leave for Pegasus.
Something like that. But the more primitive technology gives them an excuse to get away with that, I think. And we have seen sort of throughout the show where various ancients and other people are in stasis, with Dr. Weir, when Dr. Weir was put into stasis, you can see that it slows you down, it doesn't stop you.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, we also want to know from you, Tigdam, what did you consume basically the last year?
Unironically, a little bit of Atlantis. Rewatched the bits of Atlantis I could get a hold of. Also, watched bits and pieces of the Timekeepers. And oh god, what was that other one that released? I know since we saw Empire 2, that mod Stargate Races, I have been playing a little bit. I have been having some fun as the ancients sort of bullying the vanilla races a little bit. But yeah, I was quite enjoying myself on that. That's pretty much all I've had time to do, really, recently.
You mentioned Stargate Timekeepers. How much did you enjoy the game and experienced it even?
I haven't got it yet, so I didn't want to spoil myself too much. I poked my nose in to see whether it would be something that I'll be interested in, because even with other sci-fi shows, I'm not always interested in the game. So I poked my nose in to see whether it would be something that catches my eye, and with its sort of RTS strategy version, I thought, I'll give that a go at some point.
And you, Epytron, did you have a chance to play it? Or did you hear about it even?
I did hear about it. I played the demo for it, if I remember correctly. And it played very interesting. But the demo only has so much content in it that you can't get a full grasp of the game, but it gave me a little bit of a, okay, so you got to go and do this and do that, like the old style missions, and you're a downed 302 pilot that you have to try and find a way back in Antarctica, and the demo was really fun. I might end up picking up the game if it goes on a sale at some point soon, but I mean, it's not that I wouldn't pay for full price for it. I just have other priorities.
That's totally fair. To be honest, I would even go as far to say it's not worth a full price game, because it's for me just a Commandos clone. It has a reskin even from Commandos to the Stargate universe. There's no real cutscenes in it. I only played the demo like you, watched a lot of YouTube Let's Plays. It's nothing special, to be honest. And looking also back, what happened in the last 12 months, it's basically that. Nobody plays it on YouTube. There are no streams currently. I'm surprised that it's that dead already. But yeah, we don't have any shows. We don't have any communities currently pushing the game. There's no multiplayer. So yeah, it doesn't wander me in one direction, but also it's sad.
Absolutely. I mean, we hear more news about Babylon 5 these days than we do about Stargate reboot. I know there's been a couple of bits and pieces here and there about one of the directors saying, no, we're looking into something and getting rejected. But that was a year ago, 2 years ago?
Something like that.
And then it's been silence.
Yeah, so, and I know that ever since MGM bought it, there have been quote-unquote talks of starting a show, but I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath until I get a trailer or something.
Yeah, and even then, I'd love to see something new, but I hope they don't give it the Star Wars treatment, and I hope they don't butcher it. Part of me says that I want something new. Part of me, it wants to be. I don't know whether I would be happy if it was given the latest, the Star Wars Star Trek treatment, and all fancified and just lost its soul, or whether we would put up with what we got. I don't know which would be worse, to have nothing else or for them to butcher an upcoming show.
It also surprises me that the community more or less dropped the Stargate Gaming franchise. We had so much activity from basically the 2000s to 2018, 19. And then most development stopped on all the projects. The only current project is Stargate Races 2 and Pegasus Chronicles. And even Pegasus Chronicles, I love those guys, don't get me wrong, but they slowed down a lot.
Yeah, at least for the Pegasus Chronicles guys, I know they were after people to make 3D models for them. I don't know the story, I haven't asked, but essentially they were waiting on a load of 3D models. There has been somebody talking about 3D models in the Discord, but I haven't asked, and I don't know. That's not for me to really say, but I hope maybe there'll be something. No idea. But yeah, I know there was some issues with some of the mods getting targeted, if I remember correctly, when everything went for the Stargate network, and that hit a load of mods.
I remember hearing something about it. It was about this. It was like roughly what happened with Battlestar Galactica. Somebody bought the IP, and they wanted to do their own take on stuff, so they targeted anything that could be considered a rival to that. And I think that was when Deadlock came out, is when they started doing that.
It's always great when they try to kill the competition and then don't release their own product.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it's like, let's get rid of the competition. And they don't realize, the competition's your fan base. So you're getting rid of the passionate people in your fan base who you'll probably be selling to. And,
absolutely.
It's people, I don't get why companies don't. I mean, Bethesda's games have not exactly been, shall we say, stellar over the last few years, but the modding community's kept them alive. All the Skyrim still get rebought, Starfield and that lot still getting all mods and attention from it. But they've kept the fans and the mods there. I don't see why other companies can't learn the lesson that's right in front of their noses.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Especially when we have such amazing products out there already. Pegasus Chronicles is really unbelievable what those guys are achieving. Kudos to them, and I hope they get us more content in the future. But maybe let's go into that direction already. Tigdam, you're the resident expert on Stargate Pegasus Chronicles. What is the current status of the community?
At the moment, people are after more. People are happy with what's the dig site mechanics and things like that have gone on. They seem quite happy with that. But it's just been the lack of updates. People are still making things like the sub mods for it. Like oh god, what was it? Hang on, I'm just going to quickly check on Steam. I'm pretty sure somebody put out like an All-Rise sub mod, or was talking about an All-Rise sub mod for it. So there's still other modders adding to it, and people are basically waiting to see what happens with it. But so far, the Discord's active. There's been plenty of talk about it, about the show, about what's going forwards, and when the next update's been coming out. And they keep saying, "Well, we'll be out when we get somebody." But yeah, all in all, it's had a fairly positive response, and I think Stargate Races has had a fairly positive response, hasn't it as well? At least
it has, yeah. I've got a friend of mine. He's been playing it quite frequently, and he keeps asking me, "Well, why is this set like this?" Because it helps balance with the stock races. Oh, but I want to have 2 fleets of 400 Aurora class ships, and I'm like, you can go ahead and want that, but we're not going to put that in for you. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to mod it myself. I'm like, fine, go for it. But it's other than his couple of tidbits, I've only heard just amazing things from other people that just like, it's phenomenal. Like the work that Dolly Nick is putting in to make sure that all the models are getting updated correctly for Sins 2 it's mind-boggling how much there is.
At least from a player's perspective, I've been having quite a bit of fun with it. I've not played it so much in the last month or so, but previous to that, I was on and off playing it. Currently done sort of a couple of maps with the Ancients and a couple of maps with the Wraith. The Wraith defense platforms, no matter what, I love that model. I love that model so much. It's great. And also slightly bullying the, as you mentioned, balancing. But as I say, I haven't played it too much in the last month or so. So if you balanced it a bit, I won't be up to date with that. But I've completely lost what I really thought.
No problem. Then if you want to answer something.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that the latest release added in some Asgard as well.
Oh, nice. And talking about the latest release, what is the current status of the project?
The current status of the project is that Dolly Nick is working on converting all the models over, and then he's slowly pushing stuff out. He's working race by race. I'm going to be tossing probably a couple of models at him later this year, hopefully before the new year, for some of the Tauri, so that way he can get an active race going for them, because that was something that he said that he wanted to try and implement, because people were asking for a full Tauri race in Stargate Races. And since in Sins 2 we have the option to use full-on turrets, we have all been upgrading and making sure that we build turrets and stuff like that on our models, so that way they can get coded in correctly and look even better in-game.
Yeah, and I, for one, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. It seems quite a nice graphical upgrade between the vanilla version and this. You get to see obviously the other one had turrets, but now you actually get to see where the things are coming from, which is nice. And it doesn't feel like it's that much of a hit on performance with the new game. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see it.
Max Love, the lead developer of Star Trek Armada 3 and now working on Star Trek Armada 4, told us that the Sins of a Solar Empire 2 engine is so much more. Modders can do so much more behind the scenes, what was possible in Sins 2 even. Do you know, are there any plans to make new features we haven't seen in other games? Anything special?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know that Dolly Nick had a couple of things that he was working on at one point, but I don't know if that got finished or if he put that on the back burner just to make sure that he can get the content out to keep people interested until we can get to a point where we can do that.
I see. And Tigdam, you mentioned stability a little bit. Is it stable at the moment? Are there many bugs?
There are a handful of bugs that I think I noticed at one point, but they were just so minuscule. I reported them to Dolly, and I think he got them squashed. If he hasn't, then they'll be squashed soon. But yeah, no, other than just the minuscule little things, it's very, very stable.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There hasn't really been anything I've come across that I would consider an issue with it so far.
That's so great. I only hear positive things about the Sins of Solar 2 engine, Sins of a Solar Empire 2 engine. It's such a relief that we have again a new space RTS we can craft in every direction we want, in every franchise we want.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what various models come up with. There's going to be all sorts, but so far I'm having fun with what's been put out. As I say, I haven't played it in a month and a half or so because I've been doing other bits and pieces. But yeah, it's from what I did play. I was playing the Ancients of the Wraith. Nothing quite watching a Hive ship just pummel an Ancient station.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then the last thing currently active is something I'm very hopeful for the future also, which I didn't mention before, is Starcry. It's an old mod which is currently rebuilt. It's a mod for Crisis. It's an epic 8-hour adventure in not the Stargate universe, but it's totally the Stargate universe. So they have all the actors reprising basically the characters, but they don't like they really don't look like the characters we know. They just have the same name and outfits and everything. It's so funny. It's so great to fight with a staff weapon, Jaffars, facing Rar, having space battles. It's of course the Crisis engine, so it's a little bit hit and miss at some points, but it's an amazing 8-hour experience. I can really recommend that to everybody. And the developer is currently working to upgrade this whole thing into the latest Unreal Engine. He wants to make a multiplayer mode, so I'm really looking forward to the future on that project. Have you ever heard about that, or did you play it even?
I haven't heard about it, but that does sound really awesome, especially if it does get updated for the new Unreal Engine. I think it'll just be mind-blowing, because I've seen some stuff that's been created with Unreal 5, and I am nothing but impressed.
Yeah, especially with the Unreal 5 engine in general, just the lighting and how detailed you can actually get. I'm not a modder or modeler myself, but I've seen quite a bit people making various ships and all sorts just with that engine, and they've always come up really good. And I played the original Crisis, but I didn't know there was a mod out, a Stargate mod out for it. So yeah, I'll have that on my radar for sure.
I noticed it back then when it was on the PC magazines in a little corner of a page. I checked it out, could never play it. It was buggy as hell back then. I played it for the first time last December and it's amazing. I was so into it. It's, yeah, like I mentioned, a big recommendation. What also really fascinated me playing this game was how detailed the SGC looked. It's, beside of the Stargate network, it's the best looking SGC we will ever get, sadly. If there is no real product, no FPS shooter coming for us. And the developers, they not only put the Stargate franchise into Starcry, but also you have a Cardassian phaser, you find Battlestar Galactica Viper, you find from a very old sci-fi show called 7 Day, the time capsule.
From 7 Days? Oh, that is so cool.
It's so much stuff in it. So yeah. If you have Crisis, the original one, just get this mod and you will be happy.
Yeah, I imagine it will be. Yeah, go on.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say definitely just gonna check that out.
Yeah, the same. I'm I'm just looking at it at the moment. Looks like it's going to be fun. But yeah, it's not often that I play FPS, but when an FPS gets my attention, I tend to enjoy it. Things like the original, the Fear series and Crisis. There was something quite like Crisis, just putting on your stealth suit and just casually walking up to the enemy, picking them up and then throwing them into their friend. It was lovely.
Definitely Crisis is special, but don't expect a Crisis experience here. It's a totally not Stargate experience here. So you will have your P90 and rush to the enemy. You can have even 2 sets in your hand. And like in the show, the first shot stuns them, the second shot kills them. And there is really no other experience in the gaming world than having 2 set guns firing from your left and right hand. It's amazing.
Yeah, I imagine legally distinct Zat guns, I imagine, so they don't get the banhammer put down on them. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Sadly, the banhammer can come from every direction in this game. You have also the Normandy from Mass Effect in it. It's a mishmash of every sci-fi show, but in general, it's Stargate.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good homage to classic sci-fi every now and again. God, saying that Mass Effect is so many years ago, it making me feel old.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, it's that time of the year. It's not long ago we had an announcement of Spaceballs 2. So every show of our childhood is coming back, basically.
Yeah, that is something I'm looking forward to. Hopefully it'll be just as hilarious as the last one was. Although we'll have to see how much they can get away with.
And maybe this time we get also some Stargate references. We didn't get any Stargate spoof show in the past. Maybe it's finally time.
Hopefully.
Oh, sorry, I'm not entirely correct on that. We had Wormhole Extreme, so we had something.
I mean, that was the show in the show, so does that really count?
Kind of.
I mean, I'd watch it again.
True, but still.
They did very good in when they went straight to DVD.
Sadly, that didn't save it.
Oh, God. I wonder if kids these days would even know what DVDs were.
My kids do just because we make it a point that they know what technology used to be. We haven't introduced them to a rotary phone yet. That's going to be a little bit later.
Their minds will be blown.
Make one phone call on this.
Yeah, this is definitely something which we all face if we have children. How to raise them in the current technology age. It's so different. We grew up with that stuff. They have all the stuff available. All the episodes of SG-1 and Atlantis and Universe at their fingertip. They don't have to wait for a month for the next show or even a week. Nothing.
Although they
absolutely.
have been set with the curse of single series by certain companies where shows are popular but not quite popular enough. And so people keep bringing out single series and on various streaming platforms and bits and pieces. They have that curse instead.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Talking about the Stargate episodes, which episodes would you think would make an amazing game?
Oh, man. I want to say the 2-parter from Atlantis, The Storm and The Eye, would 100% make an amazing game.
That's a Janai one, isn't it? Is that the one where they got? Yeah.
Where they snuck onto Atlantis and took over, and the episode of SG-1 Beachhead, where the aliens came in and took over everybody and had them hanging up in the.
God, what were they called? Were the red guys in the red armor, right?
Yeah, the red crab guys.
Oh God, what were they called?
Did you ever hear their name?
Yeah, we did, because it was Jacob Carter, because they asked for help from him, didn't they?
I want to say they did, yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell. But I totally know the episode, of course, and I'm totally on board. That would be an amazing FPS shooter story. Fighting an invasion, and then maybe getting back to their planet, because a few of those went through the gate. We never know what happened to them, so follow those suckers and find out.
Yeah, probably
Right.
nothing good, because as if I remember correctly, they were at war with the Goa'uld, the same as everybody else was, but had gone just completely xenophobic and war with everybody, I think? Or am I misremembering?
No, I think we don't have that much background knowledge about those guys.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
whether they were mentioned in the book or not.
That could be.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm trying to remember because they came and they said something about. I don't know. They didn't even really talk to anybody from the SGC.
No, but
Once-
there was that kid, wasn't there? There was the that child that had one with them, and they couldn't see it, so they got Jacob Carter, and he what was it? Retech?
Yes, the retech.
Oh, then we're mixing up the episodes here, I guess. I thought about the invasion where the SGC personnel just was hang up on the ceiling and they mimicked their form basically as holograms and had the memories of the host.
Right.
And then there is the one where a child comes into the SGC and has his mother behind him as bodyguard.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then she shoots the wall to prove that she's real. Yeah, I squashed those two episodes together in my head.
But those Ritus would also be a nice enemy.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially since we don't know a lot about them. We know enough that they were, at war with the Goa'uld, they've been attacked. They've gone sort of attacking everybody aside from that. But that was a setup for a potentially good plot, and then they just never heard from them again.
I agree.
Another story, or not storyline, another show which would really be amazing in a gaming setting would be the Battle for Atlantis, where the Rays are coming. You know that they are coming, and you have to prepare the city for battle.
That could be fun, yeah.
Build defenses, have the siege then in multiple stages. You have the satellite a little bit in outer space. You have mines around your planet. Maybe combine that with an RTS and an FPS segment. There's an old game called Dungeon Keeper. It's an RTS game where you could control the units in an FPS setting, but in general could play the RTS segment. Having that in multiplayer would be amazing.
Yeah, I think, didn't the original Dragon Age do something similar like that, where you could zoom out and control each individual party member, or do it?
My audio real quick. Hold on. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm not sure about the Dragon Age part, but there were 3 or 4 games which allowed you to control RTS units. So it's not entirely unique, but it would be amazing to fly an F-302 and on the ground you are just a normal SG personnel. It would be so immersive.
You could also do something like what was it, the Daedalus effect, where they got trapped on a version of the Daedalus that went to alternate universes. You could do something like that, but you're trying to you're the crew reboards the ship and you try and get back home or something along those lines. So you could mix sort of like an RPG elements with managing your supplies or managing resources, managing events versus maybe some big personal fighter combat, maybe something like oh god, what on earth is it called? Babylon Project was based on it, where you could take control of your own fighter and you had capital ships and other bits going around, and maybe the cyborgs follow you and you have to try and get back or something like that. That could be interesting.
Absolutely. And one thing I always criticized on Atlantis was that they got way too quickly back into the maintenance route of the SGC. I just would have preferred at least one more season where they had to fight for resources. And that in a game would be nice. That you even have to consider, hey, how do they get food? The city only has dead plants. We need somewhere on the mainland a farm.
Right, and I remember in the show when they were on the original planet, Atlantia, I think that's what they ended up calling it or something like that. When the Athosians went to the mainland, they were supplying food to Atlantis.
Yeah.
And then when the Athosians left because the ancients retook Atlantis, and then the humans, Tauri came back, they set up a trade, agreement with them, like we gave them such and such thing, and they gave us food.
Or you have the space race, which are also space nomads. They have also traders, maybe.
Yeah, the Travelers.
Yeah, the Travelers.
I think, if I remember correctly, they had something where they were settling down. I know their ancient ship got destroyed when the Altera device was activated, but you could also do it in an alternate reality where the attempt to get back to Atlantis works, but then there wasn't enough power to, or maybe the Daedalus got intercepted by the Wraith, and so Atlantis was back on its own. So you could go the alternate timeline route, or you could do a time skip and say, well, now we're returning, or you could perhaps go, well, Atlantis is on Earth, but now the Wraith are coming here.
Definitely.
Because if I remember correctly, the ancient defense share is destroyed canonically, so Earth doesn't have its drones anymore, aside from Atlantis itself.
Yeah, that's the latest state of the Stargate universe as we know it, sadly. It's already so many years ago.
Point of order. Yes, the ancient chair was destroyed because it was in Area 51. However, that doesn't mean that the drone launcher itself was moved to Area 51, because if it was built into the ice or the ground and now essentially the ice, there was no way to move it. So technically, the chair, being the controller for the weapons, had to be moved per the agreement. But if the weapons themselves, dormant, could stay in Atlanta or stay in Antarctica, all they would have to do is to go over to like Teonas and grab that chair and bring it back, and bim bam boom, you got yourself another drone defense.
I mean, the way I recalled it was that the whole setup had been moved because they wanted it under their control and protection. That was the way I mean, that's one interpretation, and that would be an interesting one. Saying that, you have Atlantis there, so if you've got Atlantis, you've then got just refuel their drones, perhaps, if they don't plan on sending it back to the Pegasus Galaxy.
Definitely.
Because there's plenty of bits of ancient tech that they've not grabbed over the years, or has been grabbed off screen. So, it'd be interesting to see maybe a time acceleration of maybe 30 years or something in the game, and see just how Earth has developed, and whether the SDC ever actually does get leaked publicly, and why.
In that sense, I would definitely love an XCOM game, where you basically have as your normal bunker the SGC, and you create up the hangars, the labs, send SG personnel out to collect more technologies, trade relations, and then have the typical XCOM battles. That would be amazing.
I mean, if somebody wanted to make something even simpler than that, what they could do is sort of like what was it called? Fallout Shelter?
Yeah, the SGC management game.
Yeah.
Just make sure that, Senator, what's his name? Became vice president.
McCauley.
Yes, McKenzie. Make sure he's not anywhere around.
Oh, well, you've got to have him as a boss, don't you? If we're playing strategy and administration, he's got to go through a wrench in it.
That is true.
Saying
That would be fun.
I can't remember what happens to him. I know Jack and him have had a conversation, but I can't remember what happened to his political career after that.
I know that he was the vice president for a hot minute, and then when we found the chair, when we first got introduced to Dr. Weir, he's sitting there and he's talking with the president, and the president goes, Bob, you're fired. And he goes, you can't fire me. He goes, oh, like hell, I can't fire you. If I've got enough dirt on you that I could bury, blah, blah, blah.
We had an answer to that. In the season 8 episode about the trust, they used him as a pet tip, more or less, where they had him wired up to a microphone, and then he discovered, the trust is invaded by Goa'ulds, and he had a symbiote implanted.
I remember, was it the senator that was possessed by Goa'uld at one point, or am I getting the wrong character?
No, he was, and that was it. Was a season 8 episode. The gate got stolen by the trust, and they were using the
bioweapons.
Yes, the bioweapons that killed the Goa'uld, and they were targeting all planets, not just Goa'uld infested ones.
You see, it's been such a while since I actually sat down and watched the full of SG-1. Some of this is getting muddled in my head.
So the latest we know is that Senator Kinsey is dead, but we never saw him die.
Right, he died off screen, so he could make a comeback.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I recall, from what weren't they in whichever season, the next season of Atlantis going to bring back Michael and the Janai? So they've done it before where they brought back characters that were supposedly dead. So
I honestly don't think that Michael could have come back. I feel like even though he was, a Wraith hybrid or whatever you want to call it, falling that far even into the ocean, that's kind of killer.
Yep, that hurts.
yeah, people forget once you get out to those kind of velocities that water's like concrete.
Yep.
But saying that, a number of shows throughout the years have done things like that where you think that guy's definitely dead and they've just shenangled a way through.
It's true. But one problem we definitely have is the age of the actors. So what we could do in a gaming sense would definitely have something like the Telltale games. We have an adventure and all the characters are voiced by our favorite actors. And I would love a Telltale game about the fifth race, the Furlings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we never really got anything about that as far as I know. I know there was
In 200, we got a little bit. Like, we got what they looked like, supposedly.
yeah, but that was also a bit of a
It was a
comedy.
spoof fest.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much of that could be classed as real.
To be honest, it's the only thing we have, so we have to say it's more or less real.
I mean, I know there was some talk online about oh god, what were they? The Grace aliens being the fifth race, the ones that attacked the Prometheus in the Nebula. Those being I know there was some content about them where they were judging the SGC for basically taking technology that wasn't theirs and attacking them to try and see whether they were worthy of that tech. But that was a plot hole about, well, why don't you just, if the SGC isn't worthy, how would the gold worthy kind of thing?
Yeah.
I can't remember where that was from though. That's ringing the bells in my head, and I can't remember where it's from.
And one last thing I have on my list, I guess I maybe even mentioned that last year, but I think it's such a shame that we never got this VR game or this thing where Tiak was trapped in.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch you.
I'm just pissed off that they never recreated this Stargate game where Tiak was trapped in. This avatar.
Oh!
Not sure how it was called. But you know what I
know
mean.
what you mean.
He was in a cocoon more or less, and Daniel had to be the pro gamer and kick him out there. And I am so pissed that nobody in the Doom community, because it was, I think, more or less a clone of the Doom 3 engine, recreated that. That would have been amazing. Because we saw in-game footage on the screen besides of Tiag and Daniel.
It's been a while since I can't remember what the tech was, but it was supposed to be for training, wasn't it?
Yes. It was designed to train new SGC recruits on how to deal with a beachhead situation. And I think that the problem with it was that it learned too much, if that makes sense. So it learned that Teal'c would never give up, and because Teal'c would never give up, it wouldn't let him quit.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. And I think Daniel went in and then kept getting shot because he was a gold host in multiple versions of it.
Yes, which is just amazing, by the way. It's like, here, we're sending you a friend to help you. Oh, at one point, he was a Gould.
And jumping exactly there, it would be amazing to have a kind of RPG game, more or less a multiplayer RPG, where one in the SGC, one of the players, is a Goa'uld, and you have to figure out who it is. And he has also goals. He has to sabotage certain systems on the base, to kill certain persons.
Bit like Among Us, but Stargate.
Yeah. And before Among Us, there was a party game with a card game, basically, called Werewolf, where only during the night the werewolves could open their eyes, say who is the next victim, and during the day you only saw, oh, holy cow, this person died, who could it be? And having that in a gaming setting where you have your avatar walking around the SGC, finding clues. That would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that could be interesting, especially since how popular those kind of mystery games are. Yeah, that could work.
And the last dream game for me would always be definitely a armor kind of simulation where you have 100 players on a server, 2 factions, gliders, troops, attacks, everything. That would be so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's just getting something like that organized. Isn't there a Stargate mod for armor?
There is, but the development is up and down. It's. I hope they will give us a good release in the next few months. The last time I checked it out, it was still not that stable, but there is the potential. And then we have the same problem, of course, as in all the other gaming communities, not only the Star Trek communities I was thinking about. But the big problem in gaming today is definitely organizing people to play together.
Definitely.
We have so many technologies to communicate, and it's nearly impossible to communicate a group session, to find enough players to play something.
Yeah, and I think the thing about, well, I suppose not so much Star Trek anymore, but especially things like Stargate, a lot of it was, 10, 20 plus years ago. And we're all getting older now. We've all got lives and things going on. So the actual age, if you're an average Stargate fan, because there's not been anything really put out, there's not really new people coming in. And so it's like trying to get together a TTRPG session. It's even with things like Forged and all the other dice rollers out there, just getting the time between everybody's lives to do it. And that's with, especially if you don't have the younger people involved, that seems to be where a lot of, well, some games at least struggle.
I think the real struggling is also that we are captured by all those devices. We are captured by Instagram. We are captured by Netflix. And it's all the time we are bombarded by shorts, basically.
Yeah, long form content I love long form content. I've had it all the way growing up. Well, say all the way growing up, but you know what I mean. Just the attention span of people. If you talk to somebody younger these days, their attention span is just, I mean, obviously when we were growing up, at least when I was growing up, because I think you two are a bit older than me, but iPads and things were just starting to come in. I mean, I left school, God, what was it, 2010, something like that? So I'm a 90s kid. So I didn't have all this tech going up. And then, but my sister, who there's a age gap between us, she had her iPad from school and all the rest of it and built in. And I think with a lot of them, the adults in previous generations never had the option to just give the kid an iPad so they could have some time off. They always had to play and engage with the kid. And what I think there was actually a psychologist report, I can't remember who it was for, that actually, I think the infographics show went over it at some point, where they found out that at least the latest generation of kids are so fixated on the phones, so that they're having behavioral issues and attention span issues and all the rest of it, because everything is just now. If you don't capture somebody, I think they said within 3 to 5 seconds, they just switch off.
And I think this is exactly the point where we as the older generations have to step in and teach our children what is good technology behavior, what is good shows, and that they, of course, have to watch Stargate. That's definitely a must.
Well, of course. The classics are classics for a reason. They have to know what is good and what is terrible. Battle of Osiris? Good. The Battle of the Binary Stars in Star Trek? Not so good. If you can't see what the flashy things are, then, you have to be able to tell what's on the screen. If it's just flashing and bubbling about, that isn't good. It may look pretty, but if you've got no idea what's going on, your scene has failed.
Just hire a game designer in the UI department, and you know that. But in general, I think on the player side at least, there is still an urge to play together, to experience stuff together, and there are still a lot of Stargate fans out there. We just have to reach them a little bit better. That's the entire problem. You can't really reach your target audience on YouTube and Instagram and co. because the algorithm is blowing it into every direction, and after a few bad likes, a few wrong viewers, the algorithm kills it.
Yes.
So we have to target exactly this audience, the Stargate fans, which we know they exist. They have to. I can't believe I'm the only Stargate player out there.
And that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's now everything's AI driven, it's algorithm driven. It's the same with sort of general media. People want clicks, people want views, people want drama. But then you click on the drama, and that's all you ever get, and you end up in your own isolated bubble because you've clicked this one thing, then you've gone down this rabbit hole, and that's all you ever get because that's what you consume in, and so that's all the algorithm ever gives you. Even Google and that lot's now AI driven, so when you type something in, it now, rather than actually putting what you type in, it puts what it thinks is relevant to your criteria based on your previous views now. So. Yep. It's like people say, oh, well, the adverts are AI driven. Well, when's the last time you had an advert you were even remotely interested in?
I do not even know.
Exactly.
And to be honest, if you watch YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, I can't even remember what I watched today. Not even a single one.
Uh-huh.
It's not staying in my brain. It's just pointless. It's the doom scroll, as it's called on the net.
Yeah. And obviously they've had to adapt because that's the way things have gone. People want the views, they want the quick clicks and all the rest of it, and that's all they end up seeing. It's just a regurgitation. It's like, hey, oh, this is good for, a minute, then this is good for a minute, and then this is good for a minute. So many people aren't just giving things a chance because they have so much media to consume. Why would they? And
absolutely.
It's not a good state of the world to be in.
No, it isn't, but at least on the gaming side, we can change that. We can try to make a dent in this bubble. And I'm not there, but I will definitely launch a new community. At the beginning, it will be only a wiki, but maybe in the future more. I want to archive all the gaming information, all the gaming mods. Epytron knows a little bit about this project.
Yes.
Maybe I also told in private to you, Tigdam. There will be basically an archive and also an information page about what is the next event. In gaming, I'm always hitting my Discord server limits. So I always have to kick one Discord server to join another one. And I see it on all the different Discord communities. They announce that they are playing a game and it isn't read by anybody except a few admins on the server. And it's sad. All those games are really amazing. They need players, and I guess a few players out there, if they have access to a newsletter, for example, or just a website they check every few weeks, and they see, hey, there is a Stargate event coming, that would be interesting to test these maps or these new mods. Why not? It could be an easy go.
It's certainly a goal to strive for. And who knows, next time that we do some Stargate stuff, we could have plenty of other people on.
Yeah, that's the odd thing. We had in the past so many amazing mods which allowed up to 60 or 64 players even. So we could have huge battles and amazing stories recreated in the gaming world, even today. But since all those games are dead, it's a single-player experience where you have to talk to a wall to have entertainment.
Yeah, there's so much of that going about these days. It's especially with, as I say, just with life and things, getting people together. But when people do come together and actually take the time to enjoy something, it tends to go really well. It's just actually getting it to happen and getting everybody's schedules to align, or just getting a large enough community that people can pop in as and when they want.
Yeah, and Discord showed us even a large community doesn't help you a lot, because there are Discord servers which have thousands of users, but they are just users. They are just names on a list. There are no interaction. They are silent, sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got people on my server that, like, I've never seen them interact with anybody. And I mean, could I boot them? Sure. But what does that get anybody, because just because they don't interact with people doesn't mean they're not looking at the content that's there that people are posting. It more comes down to they don't feel comfortable enough to post.
Which is fine if you consider how the web developed at the beginning. We all were those lurkers, just reading the information, never sharing anything. But if you consider it's a gaming community, it's a little bit odd. And the goal is even to play together.
Oh, definitely.
So my suggestion, besides the archiving and the newsletter stuff, is that we try to keep this going. This Stargate months, basically, every time the anniversaries, we host a few rounds, publish in our communities, hey, we are playing today, come and join us.
Why not?
Yeah, as long as you can get people to adequately show up. Like, someone says that they're going to show up, you have to making sure that they actually do show up, if that makes sense.
It's like the same thing with votes and stuff that you see on Discord. People will engage with that and then they won't actually do it. It's like even with my own streams, people will say, oh, well, I want to see you play this. I play that, and then they don't show up. So it's getting people to actually commit to it.
And then there's, of course, the problem that we are spread over so many countries, so many time zones. It's a challenge, definitely. But one thing the different sci-fi communities always showed us is that we can work together. We really can create something amazing.
Definitely.
So let's do it.
Absolutely. Plenty of talented people out there, and I'm talking to two of them.
Thanks for saying that, and
thank you.
Back at you.
Back at both of you.
But we don't end with that, of course. We want one last thing here on this episode, and that would be for Epytron to give us his dream Stargate game. What would you imagine basically would be the best Stargate experience in a game? Is it the FPS segment? Would it be a space simulation, a RTS, whatever?
Well, for me personally, I think that to fully embody what Stargate is, it needs to be first person, where you're traveling through the gate on missions. Mind you, would you be SG-1? That's debatable, because if you're playing as SG-1, then yeah, we've got all these episodes from the shows, but then we also have to be constrained to the events of the show. Whereas if you play as, I don't know, SG-4 or SG-9, it can be like, oh yeah, we're exploring, P2X 474, and we don't know what's there, but the probe says that this is what's going on. And then you can just base it off of that, and then throw in the Gould, or throw in an encounter with some Unas or the Grace ship. But then you could progress to being on board the ship to eventually, let's say, go to Atlantis or wherever. So there's so much possibility, but I feel like it would need to be a first-person shooter no matter what.
And would you, and also Tigdam, would you prefer to have it set at the beginning of the SGC, or should it be a continuation?
I want to say it would be better if it was made as a continuation, because again, you wouldn't be limited to the events of the show, because then you could introduce more advanced tech that the SGC finds while on these missions, and it doesn't interfere with the canon.
Yeah, I think maybe 20 or 30 years later. So we've already seen in the show that they were developing their own energy weapons, they were developing their own armors, and perhaps maybe mix a bit of first person in with some sort of management. So, I mean, I love my RTSs. I really do. I love my strategy. So add in maybe another element of, okay, well, where do you think your resources will be best spent? Maybe some space battles where you can jump in. Okay, well, now first of all, you're this SG, let's say SG-9, like you said. And okay, well, SG-9's now on a ship. Let's do something ship-orientated as well. That could be interesting, but I think definitely later.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And then with doing the 20-30 years in the future, then you can introduce new designs. You're not limited to the 303 or the 304 or the 302, you can introduce new designs.
Yeah, and just make sure you try and keep that lineage going. One thing Stargate always seems to be better at than, say, another series is keeping the progression. I mean, we got, okay, they discovered, Naquita, then they discovered Nequadria, and then the vast majority of the tech that they've got on the ship, you can trace it back to something. And so, I mean, you trace it back to the Asgard, you trace it back to even the Goa'uld themselves, and all over the place. And try and say, okay, well, this is the technological evolution from that point, and maybe even have branching bits, different branches of the SGC. So this one's for more exploration, this one's more for combat, this one's more for this one's for that.
Definitely.
The problem with that is overcomplicating it. So, and that's the thing with games like, I don't know, X4, where you have a lot of things you can do, but you want it to also somebody to, at the end of the day, they've just come back from work, you want them to be able to jump in, but give enough that people have some more time or want to really enjoy the game can dig in, but somebody who just wants to play a game at the end of a shift can do so as well, trying to balance that.
Yeah, definitely games like in the X genre are for the hardcore trader niche. It's a very small percent of players who really enjoy that. I can definitely see the fascination about that, but I also would prefer a little bit more a freelancer style where you play your ship with the mouse, you're a trader, you're a bandit, whatever you want to be, but have it simple.
Yeah, I mean, there is sort of a, like in the Old Republic MMO where you can choose your own career, maybe something like that, where you could, hey, I'm a member of the SGC, oh, I'm a member of the Lucian Alliance, or I'm a Goa'uld that people forgot about, who's just woken up and the galaxy is no longer Goa'uld. So there was something like that could be interesting.
Wasn't that like the whole premise behind the MMO that they were trying to build? Eight Worlds?
Yeah, I'm still so pissed that we never got an MMO. I'm a big fan of Star Wars Galaxies, where you could even be a politician or a dancer or a doctor. It would be amazing.
Yeah, the only issue with it obviously never got off the ground, but it would have been fun to see. It would have been fun to see something like that actually happen. I'm not a big fan of a lot of MMOs myself, but there are some that I go back to, like occasionally pop into Star Wars, the Old Republic, and bits like that. But even then, it's still, I can get the enjoyment out of it that I get out of it, as it were. And
Definitely.
so something like the old, what was suggested for him would have really worked for me.
The problem in today's age with an MMO is it just has to be a theme park ride where you can't decide anything, because players don't support, sadly, anymore a player-driven game where you need, for example, crafters to get the best items in the game.
I mean, I don't know for MMOs. I know there's still some of that in single-player stuff and some co-op, but certainly keeping it. I know what is it, Albion Online or something like that?
There are some niche games, but it's in general a very... It's not a AAA experience, let's call it that way. It's just an indie development thing. It's totally fine. I love those games also. Don't get me wrong there. But the thing we were promised by Stargate Worlds was more in the AAA segment. And yeah, I guess we all would have tested it, maybe even loved it. Just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly don't underestimate sort of the not AAA guys, because plenty of those people have come up with some. I mean, there's the example I always give for something that's a bit indie surrounded, because it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a zombie game, but it's sort of 3D pixels, but it works. It's not like the classic Bethesda. Oh, it just works. No, it actually works. It's one guy's passion project, and the game functions. Whereas you get some AAA games, I mean, like Cyberpunk's a classic example of it not working when you wanted it to. And when they have all that time, when they have all that money, when I know obviously they've got publishers and they've got all the rest of it that they need to abide by, but yeah, give indie a chance when you can, guys.
Absolutely, and I mentioned this product many times on this channel, and it's still the best Star Trek experience you can have, and you could have this even in a Stargate experience. The game I mean is called Pulsar, where you control a starship together. You need basically 5 crew members, a captain, a pilot, a weapons officer, a science officer, and an engineer. You can not only control the ship and manage all the stations, but you also can beam down to the planet, explore, have missions, find abandoned temples, crash down starships. Having that in a Stargate universe, where you, for example, enjoying the ride on the Daedalus, drifting through different universes, that would be amazing.
The thing I always have, it would be fun, but it's just getting 5 people together. So I like that kind of thing, but having the option to go single player as and when you want to.
Absolutely.
And trying to get a game to meet all that is really, really hard. And there are so few that do it. But in an ideal world, it would be great.
But there is exactly the indie part great. You can customize the game as you want if you develop it. It can be as complex or simple as you want. And yeah, develop in any direction. This is definitely not a product any AAA studio would give us, because the risk for them would be too high.
Yeah, and
they would not, like a normal company would not be able to put in that time and think that it might fail because they don't want to fail because they put too much time and money into it.
Yeah, and
whereas
that's been
an indie game, it would be phenomenal because it's a passion project.
Yes.
I think this would definitely be also the right direction, the smart direction for all those different companies who owns the license for Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars, to give indie developers the possibility to create something. We get more stuff.
Yeah, but then it's not under their control and they're not getting enough of their cut for it, which is always the downside. Yes, the big companies have the resources, but at the same time, I mean, we've seen plenty of times before that big companies love to squash the little guy if they risk him.
That's totally true, but if you consider they sue every mod developer studio basically to the ground, to stop everything, delete every kind of version they have out there for their own product, which they never release. So they spend so much money for the lawyers, the developers of the game, the market designers, and then stop the product. So they're losing money all the time, left and right.
You don't have to tell me that. Tell them. People just don't. There are games out there. I mean, SWAT 3 was released in what? 1991? I mean, no, Half-Life 1 is still being modded for today. The Half-Life series is still very much alive. A lot of that has been through modding, and a lot of... I mean, I was playing Medieval 2 earlier today. Medieval 2 was released in the early 2000s. Shogun 2 was released in, 2008? And it's still got active modders, it's still got active player base, there's still multiplayer for it. People are still buying the stuff. Granted, it's not as popular, but it's been a revenue source for I've literally forgotten the company, but it's been a revenue source for them for like 20 years now. And it's still going because the mods keep the community interested, and the mods get seen by people, and people buy the game. Sure, it's not big money, but the numbers are still there, even decades later.
Absolutely. And there is even a nice Half-Life mod for Stargate. The only downside is you need to like torture gaming at the moment. The save function is broken, and the staff weapon is more or less instant kill. So you will restart the levels again and again and again. But it's nicely done.
So we'd be, just like Teal'c.
Basically, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but I would say this is the part of the video where I open the mic to you guys. What do you have on your mind? Is there anything we missed?
I don't think this... Go on.
No, you go ahead. I'm still putting my thoughts together.
I was about to say, I don't think there's too much that we've missed, to be honest. I'm still excited to see what you guys do with, Stargate Races. I'm still happy to see what you guys have done. I'm still having fun, especially putting the ancient ships against the base races and watching them enjoy themselves, should I say. But yeah, it's always good to see that people are still alive, people still care, they still push their passion through, and people are still out there enjoying it. So it's not just obviously you doing it, it's like people are enjoying it as well, which is the important part.
Definitely. And that's honestly what keeps mods alive, is the people that are, influenced by it, who want to see more and more of it. And that's what keeps people like myself who are working on these mods active. Because if I can tell you right now that when I started Stargate Invasion in 2008, it didn't have any interest at all, I would have just completely stopped it. Because why work on something, even if it is for yourself, why work on something if other people wouldn't see the upside, if that makes sense, of having said mod? And
yeah,
that's what kept me going, and until I quote unquote retired because I had kids. And it is what keeps most people's drive going, is the interest. You get so much interest, and then eventually, if you're doing such good stuff that people, that work for the company that you're modding a game for, take notice of you, then you could turn that into a job. And that is, I want to say, the end game for everybody who does these mods, is to eventually break into the industry and everything like that. But first and foremost, it's passion. That's where I'm coming from, is it's a passion that this is what I think would look good, and I want to share it with everybody. That's what kept me going for so many years.
And even then, it's the difference between having a job and having a career. I mean, even if you don't get picked up by some big company, if you get picked up by some big company and they let you play the things that you want or do the things that you want, fantastic. And even if you don't, as long as people are enjoying it and you're enjoying it, and it's you feel it's worthwhile, then yeah, keep going. Just that's general to everybody. I mean, if I'm not exactly the biggest YouTuber out there, I'm absolutely tiny. I'm infinitesimally small. But I keep going because I've got a few people that enjoy it, and I enjoy what I do. So, it's always, no matter what you're doing, you don't have to be the most, talented person out there. If you want to do something and you have the time, obviously don't put yourself too much out if you want to do it. But as long as it's reasonable for you to do something and you want to share it, just do it. You're never going to start unless you start. And sometimes the hardest thing is starting. So bite the bullet and go for it.
I completely agree. So that's all I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's totally fine. You guys are doing such a great job in keeping the Stargate gamer dream alive, either by posting YouTube videos or developing mods. Hats off to that, and I hope we will see us in the future again and again and again. Keep up the Stargate franchise, basically. At least the gaming side.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And in the future, for any developer out there who is planning a future Stargate project or created something in the past, please contact us. We would love to talk to you, hear your stories, plan events. You all guys do such amazing work and put so many hours in those projects. I want to spotlight that a little bit more here. So yeah, give us a shout out. But until then, I would say that's it for this video. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think about the games, and of course, play the games. Until next time, bye bye.